Hello, and welcome to the first edition of The Rewind. I'm Jenna Cohen, and today I want to talk about the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights consists of the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. James Madison wrote them way back in the 18th century in response to several states wishing for increased protection for individual liberties. Today, I want to talk about the amendment that seems constantly under fire, the first. In the First Amendment, it entails U.S. citizens' rights to freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to peacefully assemble, and the freedom to petition. It also prohibits any laws that establish a national religion or impede the free exercise of religion. That, my friends, is what I like to call a mouthful, but basically it's a statement of basic rights that every American has and can benefit from. The reason that the First Amendment causes so much tension is because of how people use it. This ranges anywhere from burning the American flag to organizing major nationwide protests for a controversial cause. So here's the sitch. About a year ago, a protest begun that stirred up nationwide controversy, and spoiler alert, it involves the First Amendment. Last football season, on August 26, 2016, in a game versus the Packers, then San Francisco 49er Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem and began a peaceful protest against police brutality and the oppression of colored people in America. This went unnoticed at first, being that he was doing it solo, and under the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, it is well within his rights to kneel during the national anthem. This, of course, carried backlash, and when former President Obama was asked how he felt regarding the controversy, he responded with this.
I believe that us honoring our flag and our anthem is part of what binds us together as a nation. And I think that for me, for my family, for those who work in the White House, we recognize what it means to us, but also what it means to the men and women who are fighting on our behalf. Part of what makes this country special is that we respect people's rights to have a different opinion and to make different decisions about how they want to express their concerns. And the test of our fidelity to our Constitution, to freedom of speech, to our Bill of Rights, is not when it's easy, but when it's hard.
Now, a year later, with continued protests of a multitude of players under a new president, President Donald Trump responded to the protests saying this.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired! And I know we have freedoms and we have freedom of choice and many, many different freedoms. But you know what? It's still totally disrespectful.
Look, I'm not sure if our president is aware of this, but these NFL players that are kneeling during the national anthem aren't doing it because they don't respect our service members or because they don't appreciate the work that they do to protect and honor our country. These players have said outright that is to send a message to the government that police brutality and the oppression of people of color in the U.S. is still a very real thing in 2017, and they won't let it go ignored. Now, as President Trump so eloquently stated, we have many freedoms granted to us as citizens, including freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So, I hate to break it to you, President Trump, but protests aren't supposed to make people happy. They're supposed to get people's attention. And it is well within all of these players' rights to kneel for our anthem if they feel it's necessary. The beauty of the First Amendment is that everyone is given the right to freedom of speech. So if you don't like what someone is saying or doing, it is also well within your rights to speak out about it as well. These players are kneeling during the national anthem not to disrespect it literally, but because our flag and our national anthem is a symbol of America and its culture. and these players are unhappy with the way that people in our society are being treated. So, to twist the meaning of their actions and say it is wrong because they don't respect our flag or our armed forces is not only untrue, but unpresidential. Because he is president, his words clearly have influence. According to the New York Times, Trump's recent comments have caused a surge in Americans' unfavorable view of the NFL. In addition, almost 80% of Trump voters feel that the NFL brings about negative news. Now, if this doesn't show you Trump's words have power, maybe this will. Right behind Trump hotels and a couple news agencies, the National Football League has now become the 7th most polarized brand in America. So, regardless of your opinion on the NFL protests, it is a clear fact that words have power. And look, Trump is human and humans have opinions, and in a position of power, especially when identifying with a political party, you're going to want to share those opinions. All I ask, as well as many other Americans do, is that they are shared in a way that also respects the First Amendment rights of everybody else. Thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like the Rewind page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to suggest current topics and stay updated on future videos. And that, my friends, is the Rewind. Done. Cut.